You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
In a world where film studios have pillaged every young adult novel, DC'd every comic book series, and Frankenstein every silver screen monster in search of the next movie mega franchise. Two nerds, two movies, one cinematic universe.
This is Randy.
And this is Jasper.
And this is Jesse. In the future, we'll be unveiling our newest vaping podcast, Cinevapic. We have such clouds to show you.
Wait a second, what?
What? What's wrong?
I
feel like somehow we've gotten our Grawlix wires crossed. We've crossed the streams.
Never cross the streams.
Hey, everybody. Jesse from a little show you might have heard called the Grawlix Podcast is joining us today.
Oh, hey.
So, Jasper's lost it.
I just like that. Oh, hey. Jumped right in.
Sorry. It's been a while.
Oh, man.
Jesse joined us, and we watched two movies.
And they were old.
They were old. Older than all of us here on the show.
True. True.
Listen, there's a big movie came out. Big Marvel movie came out this weekend.
Wait. An MCU movie? I did it. It was me.
You said
I made the reference. An
you brought in
MCU movie?
MCU. Check mark. So yeah, there's a big Marvel movie coming out this last weekend. So we figured we'd celebrate that, you know. Right now, everybody's talking about Ant-Man and the Wasp. So we watched two movies, Ants and the Wasp Woman.
Wasp Woman.
They're basically the same thing as the Marvel movie.
Yeah.
There's ants.
Lots of ants.
There's ants.
All right, so we watched Ants from 1977 and The Wasp Woman from 1959.
And ants has like a subtitle, doesn't it?
Yeah, I was a little thrown by that. It's like Panic at Manor Lake or something like that.
Like Lakewood Manor or something?
Yeah. Lakewood Manor, yeah.
Okay.
That's what the movie title itself actually said. But if you look it up, it can be found under the title of Ants.
It's like Panic at the Disco, but it came out a little too late.
Yeah. We're going to do this chronologically, right? We're going to start with The Wasp Woman. Let me give you a little summary of The Wasp Woman.
Got ants in my pants.
I have ants in Jasper's pants. The Wasp Woman from 1959. Screenplay by Leo Gordon, directed by Roger Corman. This is the first Corman movie we've covered on the show, I believe. I could be wrong. I'm sure Jasper knows nothing of Roger Corman, and that's fine. But Roger Corman was like a prolific kind of B-grade movie producer and director, but he produced a ton of movies. This is one of his lesser-known ones. Overview. A cosmetics queen develops a youth formula from jelly taken from queen wasps. She fails to anticipate the typical hoary side effects. That's a weird description, but that works. People in this movie include Susan Cabot, Anthony Isley, and some other people. Listen, a couple episodes ago, we had trouble with Wilford Brimley, so don't worry about the other people in this movie.
just don't worry about them.
So, The Wasp Woman. So really, that overview is not totally inaccurate, but she doesn't develop it. A scientist guy develops it and then pitches it to her. Good timing on his behalf because her cosmetic sales, she's the face of her company. The company, I can't remember the name of it offhand. Oh, Starlin.
Starling Enterprises.
Yes.
Yeah. Her cosmetics companies, the sales are declining, and they think it's because she's taken her face off the packaging. She's not modeling for it anymore because she was the face of the company, but now she's getting older. And along comes Wasp guy.
Dr. Zinthorpe.
Dr. Zinthorpe. That's a good...
Isn't that a good That's a good mad scientist name right there.
Yeah. All right, guys. So, had you ever seen this?
No.
And what did you think? No.
Yes.
I hadn't either.
I have not. No.
What'd you guys think of this? Go ahead, Jasper. You look ready to go. I'm super excited to hear your thoughts on this.
I was intrigued by this movie. Okay, now again, MCU counter. Here we go.
Already?
Oh, boy.
Wow. Now I like the CG and stuff of the new era stuff.
Oh, we get MCU and CG. Check. Okay.
Check.
Was Max Van Sydow in any of these? No, I don't think he was.
No, but I like these older movies, like the
Okay.
old black and white movies,
Nice. Okay.
because you then get to see what they had to do for like special effects, but story driven. So you can't really rely on things to tell the story like CG and effects. But the thing I liked about this movie was the whole entire time I was thinking that the Wasp Woman was going to be the queen, turns into like human form, not her actually turn into the weirdest wasp I've ever seen. So,
Yep.
like the initial reaction when she turned into the wasp was, "What the hell is this? What's going on?" Like, and then I know thinking back now why she like started just killing everybody is because he keeps saying that the female wasp does that to whatever that's not her, her enemies. So I was just like, it went from like real slow to like, boom, here's the story.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. What did you think, Jesse?
Okay, so I can't talk about black and white movies without mentioning that I have an intense love for what Christopher R. Mim is doing with basically, what does he call them? He calls them the best of the worst good bad movies from the era of the 50s. Like he's basically creating new movies from that era. And so he straight up pulls tropes from all of these black and white movies. And so when I'm watching a movie like this, it immediately pulls me back into that. And it doesn't hurt that I am a fan of like Doctor Who from the black and white era for the 60s. I love the Universal monsters. So, like I've watched a few black and white movies in my time. And so watching this, I was like, yes. And all I could think is, dude, it's a Wolfman movie. It's basically Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but with a woman lead at this time. Like this is not women's lib kind of era. This is, and not only is she like the lead, she is in charge of the company. Now, granted, the patriarchy is strong in this movie because they're trying to unseat her from power, but like she's in charge, man. Like not only is she the face of the company, but she runs the company. And then she like basically is the undoing of the company.
That's a really good point. She's a super strong character.
I was kind of surprised by that, like this is very forward thinking for that time.
Mm-hmm. I hadn't really thought about it, but you're right. And there's it feels like it's not the majority of the cast are women, but it's about half and half, I'd say.
Yeah. And
okay, it's a cosmetics firm, but yeah, your point is still super valid. That's interesting.
And now that you mention that, like even the other characters who are subordinate to her, they are still strong characters. Like her receptionist, I've got 2 words for you. Drop dead twice. That's 3 words.
That girl made me laugh so many times because she always answers the phone in that like seductive Starling Enterprises.
She does, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoy the 50s monster movies. They can. My biggest concern going into this was it's going to be a slog. It's going to be slow. It's going to be hard to sit through. And it's not only is it's a 50s monster movie, it's a super low budget 50s monster movie. And it is. Yeah. It's super low budget. Almost the entire movie takes place in. There's a few sets, but essentially one location. Right. Outside of the introduction to the scientist, most of it takes place in a couple buildings.
The incident that occurs to the scientist, that's also outside, but like that could be literally outside the set or the studio, So
it is super low budget, but I think the structure of The biggest thing against it, though, is the structure of it, because it's a lot of technically nothing until the very end, when all of a sudden it's everything. It's the Wolfman in like the very end of the movie. That said, I liked it. I mean, it's not amazing, but I was kind of into it. I dug it, like the shifty dudes trying to, convince that Janice is her name, is being swindled, and just kind of going about everything just super underhanded. They've got the secretary stealing documents out of Janice's office. Just that whole thing I found kind of effective and frustrating, but in a good way. It was supposed to be frustrating. I was super into like seeing what happened with like how these tests on Janice progressed, to the point where I was disappointed once things started happening, because it was like there was no progression. There was a little bit of progression and then everything, like I said.
Right. Once that whole Dr. Frankenstein hubris kind of kicks in, and she's like, this isn't working fast enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the whole thing.
Which I was like, dumb, bad decision. Like,
Do
I guess
not go in there.
You got to do it to pick up the pace of the movie, but no. First off, these haven't even been tested on like anybody. You just get straight tested on yourself, and then you're going to go against what the scientist who's testing on you is saying to do. Dumb decision, but whatever. That's her hubris.
Dr. Zinthorpe had me hooked from like the first minutes of the movie. I think this stuff was added. I think I read somewhere that this stuff was like added to pad it for TV kind of thing, because it was a pretty short movie, and then they like added scenes to the front end of it so that it would have a longer runtime when they put it on TV. And so I think all of that stuff where he's just like, I was like, this is such a bizarre scene. Him just wandering through the woods, like not knowing where he's going. And I'm like, what is he doing? Like he's got like a full beekeeper outfit on, and he's like looking around. I was like, I don't think this is how beekeeping works. Like typically beekeepers know where they're going. He just looks lost through those opening scenes, and I'm like, "All right, what is this guy doing? Because I'm already lost." And then he finds what he's looking for, and he brings it back, and everybody's like, "This guy's crazy. Who brought these wasps in here?"
I liked his character too. That's the one thing I liked. A lot of the characters. I liked the scientist character. He's weird, technically a mad scientist, but like the friendliest mad scientist ever.
Right.
Janice, the boss, this was her last movie ever. I guess she just stopped acting. Yeah, she just stopped acting after this. I mean, I guess it doesn't go up from here, right? But
yeah, it was a great movie, right?
I actually found her, like, she was really good. And oddly enough, I think I liked her acting before, when she was quote unquote older, because even though she doesn't actually get younger, she appears younger. You could tell they did a little bit to old up her face, but I thought her acting was super on point. Like, I thought she was really good. And then when she got started taking the stuff and appeared younger, I guess she was supposed to be more, not giddy, but just more lighthearted.
I felt like she was supposed
manic,
to be going a little crazy already.
And that didn't work as well for me, but I thought she was really good.
Yeah,
so the acting wasn't bad. The acting wasn't bad, especially for that time period.
Nothing really took me out of it, other than the time period. Like, it was a product of its time. Like, other than that, like, I felt like it was very cohesive.
You got anything, Jasper?
I just had the trivia part. There's actually like 4 things of trivia.
Well, hit us with one of the trivia parts.
Well, one is, you pointed out, this was Susan Cabot's last movie.
Oh, before you hit the next thing, I did want to I wanted to add on to something Jesse just said about the length of the movie. Even with whatever, I didn't know they added stuff to pad it out. I mean, it's kind of obvious that they padded it a little bit here and there, but even with that, the movie's only like 70 minutes long.
Yeah.
So going into it, I think I used that as a selling point for both you and Jesse. I was like, 1950s low budget monster movie, but it's only 70 minutes long.
Right.
So it is a pretty quick. It's a pretty short movie. What do you got?
Okay, so yeah, but the one I just told you, that was her final movie. The role of the beekeeper, played by Aaron Kincaid, was added at after the film's initial release.
Okay, so in that extra scene that they used to pad the movie.
Yeah. The directors in the movie has the doctor in the hospital.
Okay.
Even though the copyright of this movie is 1959, there is clearly at least one part of this movie that was filmed in 1964 or later. When the private investigator gets the address in Manhattan for the elderly B guy, Eric Zinthrop, he calls Jerry and tells him to get right on it. The movie then cuts to a young guy in an office, and then without any dialogue, he and another guy drive around in search of Zinthrop. One of the cars parked on the street is a 64 Impala.
Ah.
Interesting. Wow. So they added some stuff years later.
Mm-hmm.
I did notice the car driving scene, and I thought, oh, man, they're already using some green screen stuff.
Debuted in theaters as part of a double feature with the movie Beast from the Haunted Cave, 1959.
Never seen it.
It says the film has a similar premise to another science fiction horror flick that was released a year earlier, The Fly.
Yeah, very much so.
But the last one, the good one, this one I didn't see actually when I first searched these up, was in one of the final scenes, a bottle of acid is thrown at Susan Cabot, but she isn't acting when she throws her hands up after it strikes her. Someone had filled the breakaway bottle with water.
Oh.
And it was so heavy that when it struck her, she said, "I thought my teeth had been knocked through my nose."
Oh.
The fake smoke used to simulate the acid also choked her. After falling through the window, unable to breathe, she tore some skin off along with her monster makeup, leaving a huge purple mark on her neck.
Oh, maybe that's why she was done.
Yeah.
That and that cat.
I love the cat with just like some
Sort of some
tied to
wings
its
or
back.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the Wasp Woman. All right. We've been talking about the Wasp Woman, but let's talk about the Wasp Woman. I don't know how much you guys saw going into it. I know, Jasper, you said you did not expect it to be what it turned out to be.
Yeah.
I did know because I looked it up I searched the movie out. The poster of this thing shows a giant wasp with a woman's head. The actual Wasp Woman of this movie is the complete opposite. It is a woman's body with a wasp head. It like The Fly. It's a human body with an insect or with a wasp head and like wasp tentacle
Like
arm
hands,
things.
like-
Oven
yeah.
mitts.
Yeah. Some kind of
Wasp
gloves.
oven
Yeah.
mitts.
It made me think of Christopher R. Mims' Where's Skeeto Nazi Hunter?
Wow.
That's basically the same monster treatment as a big bug head mask and then like some kind of gloves.
I was thrown because there's unless I'm forgetting, there's no transformation scene, right? Mm-mm. It's just she kind of acts a little wacky, and she just appears, and it's the wasp outfit with her dress on still, and attacks somebody. And then, like, the next scene, she looks completely normal again. And I was super thrown at first. I was like, wait.
Me too. I was like, what does she remember it? Is she, like, what's going on here? Like, is this completely amnesia when she's not the Wasp Woman? But it was super intriguing too at the same time. Like, not knowing was like, I am glued to this thing now because I'm like trying to figure it out.
I really feel like they could have, that last act, the movie is like, 10 minutes is the first act, the setup. Most of the movie is the second act where it's just kind of cruising along. And then the third act, the climax, is just the last 10 minutes, 15 maybe. Like, that's kind of how the movie is. The fact that they just had her switch back and forth and she'd kill somebody as the Wasp, and eventually it did look like she was aware.
Yeah.
Like, that little climax could have made for a decent, like, driving force of the majority of a movie. Just kind of, people keep disappearing, and
That's what I kept
Right.
trying to figure out. If she knew, like, or she was like, "Oh no, I killed these people," but she always it always seemed like she didn't know she did it, but also seemed like she was kind of hiding it.
yeah, at first it seemed like she didn't know, but then towards the end,
Well, once she's really looking for the doctor, like she needs to talk to him. It was like, I think there's something up here. Like she knows she's kind of aware when she does this stuff. Whether or not she can control herself, she knows.
although the doctor is a terrible businessman,
Yeah.
he signed no contracts, no nothing.
Nope.
Just so long as she promises him that his name will be attached to whatever discoveries, blah, blah, blah. It's like, nope.
Get that contract signed.
Yeah, bad idea.
But then again, he's not liable for all her debt or all her killing though, because there's no contract. He doesn't technically work for it.
Did he end up dying? He got killed at the end, though, didn't he? I think he did.
Yeah, because he has like a heart attack.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It wrapped itself up. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know what else to say.
There's not much to say about that movie.
Okay, are we ready to wrap that one? I think we said a lot about it, considering.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
I thought we did.
Ratings.
I think we should hand this to Jesse first.
Yeah, you're right. Jesse.
I liked it. It was Jekyll and Hyde. It was the Wolfman. It was awesome. I'm giving it a 3. Like, out of the 2, this is the one I would like actually
3
watch
star.
again. Yeah, I'd give it 3. It's
Nice.
middle of the road here.
What about you, Jasper?
I was going to say, just for intriguing me more than I thought it would, 3.5.
3.5.
Wow. Whoa, I did not call that one. I figured I'd have
Me either.
I figured I'd have the highest marks on this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Okay.
But the next movie, that rating's flopping.
Yeah. That's fair.
Okay. I gave The Wasp Woman 2 stars because it met and exceeded my expectations, but it's still like, ultimately, when I thought about it, I was like, would I watch this again? Is it something that I would enjoy watching again? No. I'm fine with the story. The story wasn't bad. I'm fine with experiencing it once, but it's not even something I could recommend to somebody, because there's, in the massive catalog of like 50s monster, man turned animal or giant animal or whatever, both of these movies have another similar theme other than just the bug connection. But there's better. Or there's worse that are more entertaining. So
Yeah.
it's bad, but just good enough to not really be bad, but just bad enough to not
Sure.
really be good. So, 2 stars.
I thought you'd go a little bit higher than that.
I feel like it should be higher after our discussion, but that was my gut instinct at the time. So that's what I'm going to go with.
Got to stick with it.
Yep,
Sure.
that's what I'm going to go with. All right. So from the, where was this?
Manhattan,
Was it?
New York.
Was it
From
really?
I believe so. That's what they said.
From the glitz and glamour of a 1950s New York cosmetics firm. I don't know how to do that one. To the, where was the
Lakewood? Is it like, I guess I kept thinking it was like in California or something, but if it's lakeside, then it could be anywhere.
to the calming rustic decor of Lakewood Manor. Tell Jasper,
Yes, sir.
what's the next movie we discuss, and tell us all about it?
It was Ants, the 1977 TV movie. The plot was an old-fashioned lakeside hotel is targeted for purchase by an unsavory gambling casino promoter and situated next to a construction site. It is attacked by an army of poisonous ants. Efforts to contain the ants and rescue those trapped in the hotel are hampered by the progress of the creepy crawlers upward floor to floor.
But were they, though? Was it the ants' fault?
It's true.
Oh, God. When we get into that.
The cast and crew was Robert Foxworthy as Mike Carr. It doesn't actually tell me who the producer is. Oh, there he goes. Our director, Robert Shearer.
Sure.
Written by Gerdon Trueblood. That's a name.
It sounds like a fake name to
Linda
me.
Day George is also in here. Gerald Gordon, Bernie Casey, and Barry Van Dyke.
What about Susan Summers? Wasn't she?
Suzanne's, yeah, that's weird. Suzanne Summers, but she's way down the cast list, which is weird because she's like one of the main people. But
I think this was like back before she was anybody.
there's
But
legitimately
like
two
now, we all
things
know
she was in.
her. She's the only name. But back then, I think this was
She looked
like
hot.
this was before she was anybody. Maybe.
This is a pretty obscure movie. It is a 1977 made-for-TV movie that, as far as I can tell, you can only find on YouTube. But it's on YouTube, so it's free. And the version, I'm not saying it's legit, but it's free. The version I watched had, was it Dutch subtitles?
Yeah,
It had some
yeah,
kind
it
of
was
subtitles.
Dutch. It was right there in the like video description of it.
It was a VHS rip from some Holland, some company based out of
It
Holland.
was like a
produced the
previewer.
VHS.
So like you're not supposed to watch it. You're not supposed to share it with anyone. And that's what we're watching. The previewer.
But when I found this in my Ant-Man and Wasp ode here. Like, I was so intrigued. I was like, no, this has got to be it. This has got to be it.
See, I thought we were going to go with the classic Them, the public domain Them. But that one's too good.
Yeah. Well, and
that one's maybe too good. That's basically like an Aliens precursor.
And I wanted to, actually, because it would have matched with the other movie a little better, but...
Oh, I don't know. We'll see about that, sir. We will see about that.
I'm excited. Does anybody have, like... I'm guessing nobody's seen this before.
No.
I didn't even know it existed before this. Anybody have a biting desire to go first? Oh, pun intended.
I'll jump in if you guys have nothing. What was it that I said to you, Randy, on Instant Messenger? Basically, this one, for the better part of the movie, you could call this not ants, but what was it? Dudes kissing blondes?
Yeah, that was
because
the movie.
That's the lion's share of this movie is just 70s dudes kissing blondes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was practically something for the Hallmark Channel.
It was something I found interesting, especially after talking about the Wasp Woman just now. Whereas the 1959 movie actually had like strong female characters in lead roles doing like lead jobs. And somehow
there's only one. There's literally one female character in this movie, and she's in a wheelchair.
Dude, the women in this movie is bad. This movie is a big step backwards.
Yeah,
big step backwards. Right away, it opens with other than the construction site scene, which, by the way, so some guys get buried under some dirt in the construction site scene. I was a little shocked by that. I was like, whoa, that was a pretty. They buried those dudes in some dirt. That looked like a scary stunt.
Right.
That's in some trivia.
Oh, Snapple. Really?
Yeah.
Go ahead and hit us with that trivia real quick. I know it's a little early to start trivia, but it's relevant.
So stuntman Conrad Palmisano was buried alive for the film with only a garden hose for him to breathe air through. This was only tried once for this film. He would only do it one time, so they had to get it right the first and only time. It was a very dangerous stunt.
Yeah, wow. I like that. He would only do it one time. He's like, this is once.
I'm only breathing through a garden hose once.
Yeah, that sounds scary. But so the first scene beyond that is it's basically this for that workplace sexual harassment. I was like, what is going on here? Because it's it's not established. Like, I guess it's established that they're not a couple. This guy, the quote unquote unsavory character who wants to buy this hotel, and his assistant,
his Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, and she did look good. I hope that doesn't undercut my statement.
Oh, she made a whole career out of looking good. So,
but he keeps pushing. He's trying to push her to like. He gets mad, like legit mad, that she reserved 2 rooms, separate rooms for them. And then, like, it becomes joking, like, jovial. But he's, like, he's pushing hard. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And, right. It doesn't get much better for most of, I mean, she ends up going along with it. She seems like she's in it for the money, obviously. Like, she is not interested until it seems like he's going to make, like, the deal might happen. And she's trying to talk him into making her partner. Other than just bed partners.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. That's pretty much a line right there.
And I don't know. I was trying to think the younger blonde that seems maybe
is it
homeless?
Valerie?
Sure.
Oh God, Linda. Oh,
Linda.
that character. Oh my goodness.
I mean, not to say that there's not some attraction, but like she starts macking on this guy right away for basically letting her stay in his room. And it's just whatever.
And she's basically supposed to be homeless. Like, she is the most Farrah Fawcett looking homeless person ever.
Yep. And that relationship just happens out of nowhere.
The whole impetus is she was kind of hoping he would take her in, like verbatim. I was really just kind of hoping you'd take me in.
Yeah. She just wanted him to take care of her.
And he was okay with that.
Yep. He's all right. He's a big, dumb Was he blonde as well? I think
he was like a
blonde.
lifeguard. He was like a dusty blonde or brunette. One of the
Flash
two.
Gordon looking dude.
Flash.
A little bit like curly surfer dude kind of looking haircut. That's why I kept thinking
Savior
this
of
was
Lakewood,
West
Manor?
Coast.
And then the other main female characters, well, I guess there's a few, because you've got the older lady in the wheelchair that owns the place.
Right.
You've got her daughter, who really just kind of seems like she wants her mom to sell the place so that she can go get married to the construction guy outside and move to Florida or something. Or somewhere.
That's Valerie, and is that Mike Carr, or what's his character's name? I don't know.
I'm not sure offhand.
I thought his character's name was Mike Carr, but maybe I got the actor's name. Anyways, those two, and that was again like it seemed like sexual harassment. The movie, because you don't know that they're a couple until he basically pulls her into the men's restroom and starts making out.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
dudes kissing blonde girls.
What a weird relationship that is, because she comes at him like yelling about, just like kind of playing like the elitist snob, like, you got to keep your construction guys out of here. You're clomping around like a bunch of dumb apes. And then they just start macking in the men's room. It's like, what?
What is this?
So this movie is,
Bad.
it's bad. Construction guys make a bunch of ants mad. They slowly start, they kill a couple people. The problem is, okay, it's kind of long. It's a made-for-TV movie. There's a lot of definitely plot beats that are just like obviously there to stretch it out. Like once the construction guy figures out that it's ants, nobody believes him. Of course, it's like you have,
of course not.
You have no reason not to believe him.
Also, did I miss something when? Okay, so Suzanne Summers' character gets overtaken by ants and dies.
That's
And
towards
that
the
guy
end, yeah.
walks upstairs, sees her, and then just walks back and doesn't say anything.
Oh no, yeah, that happened. That's
like-
literally what happened. He just finally had his sexual conquest. He finally got what he wanted the whole movie, and he sees her dead, and is just like, "Oh, I got to get out of here."
Yep.
They don't even ask him why he's got like, well, you just saw a ghost face. They're just like, and then no one, I don't think, ever went back for her body or.
No, I mean, one of the guys towards the end, when they finally get the suits there and they go in with the pesticide, they stop and linger long enough to look at the body. I'm guessing so they could get that shot of
Just one more
back?
time. Yeah.
but yeah,
Back inside boob.
slight side boob, yeah. This is a TV movie. They just had to savor anything they could put in there. Did you guys see the cover for this movie that's listed on
No.
at least on the movie database?
Nope.
It's totally like, you can't see like face, but you see hair. It's blonde hair, and it's just cleavage shot with ants all over it.
That's fine.
What?
Yeah, I mean, it's way more racy than
It
anything
makes
actually in the movie.
perfect sense, but ugh.
There's some little plot that obviously doesn't matter, and then it's mostly just kind of characters bouncing off each other, and then slowly the ants. Funniest, there are a couple like super like hilarious bad movie moments. There's another woman that comes in, and I don't understand what her role is.
She's
But
like
she's-
safety inspector or whatever.
Yeah, but the guy the man that's there seems to be the actual health inspector,
Right.
who's the one to be worried about, anytime there's a health inspector in movies, he's a little kind of jerk. And then she feels more like a reporter. I don't know what she's doing there,
Right.
but she's more helpful than
yeah,
other guy.
she's actually on their side a little bit. Whereas the
Yeah.
other guy's like, whatever, ants. Tell me another one.
yeah.
And then you've got
it's-
the entomologist who's like, no, it's ants.
See, this guy, that's the guy that was funny because
Yeah.
she takes the goes to this guy with some ants and is like throws the construction guy's theory at him. And initially, he's too busy to even talk. He's not interested. Now, I don't have time to talk to you. I don't have time to even talk about this. Blah, blah, blah. And then when he's like, well, okay. And he takes her into another room, pops in a videotape, and they watch TV. And I'm like, I thought you didn't have time to even talk to her.
Yeah, it was like another show inside of a show. It was like documentary inside of a TV movie.
And then once they get him going, he's like the expert, but his lines are the most ham-fisted, like, here's the moral of this movie. pesticides are bad, don't tamper with nature. Like, it's so ham-fisted. And like, once he started talking, because the dialogue in this movie isn't great, but I was like, well, whatever, it's just kind of crap dialogue with crap characters. But his is like so forced and awkward. I was kind of blown away. So that made me laugh. And then there's a couple like slow zoom ins to people's faces on dramatic moments.
Oh God,
dude, it made me. I'm gonna have to like, I don't know, try to make GIFs out of them or something, because it was so funny. It's so bad. It's an interesting, like, the production's not terrible. It's just kind of boring. The set looks fine, but you could tell it's 70s TV.
Yeah,
and that made it somewhat interesting to me, but it's not good.
Once they decide, okay, it's actually ants, holy cow, it's off to the races.
But it's at the races for a long time.
Well, I mean, like this whole time we've got this one little area that's boarded off and even has like a dangerous keep out sign, and somehow this dangerous area has got like a I don't know, an exhaust pipe that runs into the kitchen.
It's supposed to be like some type of sink drain or something that they broke for some reason.
Okay.
But Jesse, tell me this.
What?
What riles the ants up? Why do they finally start gathering in mass and taking the hotel down?
I don't know. Like, just because they got like riled up, is that like that's the thing that the entomologist is telling them, is like they'll leave you alone as long as you don't rile them up. And then I'm guessing what you're getting at here is that Mike is like, we've got to shut this down. So he gets into like a land what do you call that? A land mover, like a bulldozer, and he's like, I'm just gonna drive back and forth over the ants.
He just goes ape in there. I don't even know what he's actually doing.
He's just like, I'm going to do this. I'm taking care of business. I am a construction worker.
But, you know, like, he's not really doing anything. But, yeah, he does just drive back and forth. But he, like, gets mad because they don't believe him about the ants. He's like, well, we'll find out. And he just goes ape and starts driving all around in there. And then his big plan is, like, after he does that, he's like, I just riled up the ants. Where should I go? Let's go inside the hotel. And trapped. That's when the ants start. Yeah.
We're all trapped. Now it's a siege movie, kind of.
It is, yeah. So two things about like when they show big groups of ants. Most of the time it impressed me. I liked like when the ants were all over the building. You could see like the big trails of ants, whatever, along the walls and stuff. That looked all right.
Right.
What didn't look great was when they do the far away shots where it's obvious they just like did some weird black effect over a large portion of the frame.
Yeah. And
it looks super weird. And at first I was confused at what I was looking at. And I was like, is that supposed to be, what is this? It's supposed to be just like the ground is blacked out by all the ants. Does not look good.
No.
You tired, Jasper?
No. No.
Are you numb?
He's numb. He's been bit by the ants. If you get only bit by a couple of the ants, you just go numb.
No.
But if you get bit by too many ants, you die.
You did. No, I was
if you're
getting
a
ready
little
to say
boy
no.
in a swimming pool, ants.
I was getting ready to say no, and then like my mouth watered up, so I tried to catch it. So I was like, no. like I tried to not drool all over your equipment.
Why didn't the construction guy go to the doctor, who was super interested to figure out what was going on with these people and was asking him for all kinds of like, can you find out what's in that hole? Why did he not take the ants to that guy and say, hey, here's what I think. Examine them.
What?
Yeah, that guy was too busy.
I just like how he stabbed the side of the hole with the front loader and then riled them up even more by destroying their home.
Bad plan.
So Suzanne Summers die after that? Was he like driving around?
It was after.
It was after. Okay, like he riled him up and then like, all right, post-coital death scene. Good.
Yeah, it was just after that because he was driving around during that, like when her and the unscrupulous.
Oh, that's right. He's like, what's going on outside? I gotta go see this.
And then he walks over and sits down in a chair and gets a call.
Right.
And also,
I think I can buy this hotel.
She asked him, like, I mean, obviously there was a commercial break or something in there at some point, but she asked him like twice, do you really have to go? Lady, like, I don't think she'd be in that bed if he wasn't about to buy that hotel. Why is she like, do you have to go? Bad writing.
Right.
Bad writing. Because that's what women say in beds, right?
Yeah. Right?
I just picture when he's like out there destroying ants with the front loader. It's just a front loader like moving its bucket up and down and it's smashing the ants. You just hear beep beep.
Oh man. Yeah, they cut that sound effect out completely. Nobody knew when he was going to back up.
Beep beep beep.
This is 1977.
There was an OSHA then. Or there was OSHA and they got all ate by ants.
After the ants, OSHA.
Jesse sent me an interesting message. I'm assuming just after he finished this, or partway through it, was
Oh my God.
Worst fire rescue ever.
They were the worst.
It's so bad. Like every time they attempt to rescue people.
Oh, I got one for that.
Oh my God. So what they like
On the
they
ladder.
dug
The ladder.
Yes.
dude.
Oh my God. When they
look like
dug a
Jaws.
trench around the whole thing, right? Like they're trying to come up with this plan, and so they make it harder to get to people. But then they finally get the fire department out there, and they're like, "Let's start saving people." Maybe.
Like they couldn't move the truck just a little bit closer, just like
I wouldn't have went out that well. Okay, I don't like heights either. Although I've never said I'm allergic to heights. I think that's a weird way to put it, but maybe it's not.
Oh, was that what
accurate.
she said? Did she say allergic to heights? Oh my
She's
God.
allergic to heights.
Well,
I'm not I'm afraid of them. All right, I ain't gonna sugarcoat it.
she's
Oh,
homeless,
heights.
so let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
That's true. That's true. But no, I wouldn't. Dude, he was like feet away. He was several feet away, just like limply holding out one arm. It's like he doesn't even look like he's interested in helping.
he looked like the guy that played Jaws in the early James Bond.
A little bit.
But he's just like,
but older, but old and fat, kind of. He did not look like he was an in shape type fireman. Not that a fireman had to be, I guess, but they need to be somewhat in shape.
At first, I was like, is he going to just grab her and then like take her off the truck and then hide her in his basement? Like, boom.
Don't blame her for not wanting to go out. Also, why send her out first?
Like if he came up
Yes,
to the
of
window
all
as
the
a
people.
rescuer, I'd be like, no, send him back.
And maybe this is how the ladders work. So she does climb out the window. The guy almost drops her.
Terrified.
Yeah, and he's holding her, like he's got her by her hands, and she's just dangling off the end of this ladder. And maybe this is how it works. Maybe this is how they have to do it. Does not seem like the way to do it. So they raise the ladder all the way straight up. And I get it. So
straight
she can
up
like,
and down.
so she can like get on the ladder then. But no, it seems like a better way to do this instead of she's
Just
about
bring
to
her
fall.
down to the ground.
Let's bring her up several stories so she's dangling way up there. That way, if she falls, there's no breaking legs. She's dead. And also the whole time she keeps just violently like swaying her body. It's like just stop. You're making it worse.
Just stay still. Don't move.
That was legitimately scary, but also incredibly stupid. The whole thing.
And then that guy was like not pulling her up at all. He's like, you know what? I don't have the upper body strength for this, so I can't pull you.
No, he was just yeah.
And then the guy down on the ground is like, oh. But then when she finally grabs it, she's like, yep, my men are trained.
And then
Like,
by
I
that
knew
time,
that's how it'd play out. We're good at this.
was it there were ants coming on the windowsill, so they couldn't do it, or were they just like, well, that was enough for that?
Well,
but
we didn't
truck
mention,
actually-
but sleazy Vegas casino guy, I assume Vegas, but casino guy, like he's already died. Like he got bit in the hand. He got ants on the hand, dead.
Oh,
Yeah, he just
no,
runs
you
out,
mean-
and then he was like,
No,
"Oh my
no.
God, ants!"
that was the health inspector guy.
Falls down.
Oh, was
stairs.
it the health inspector guy?
That was the health inspector guy. Because
Okay,
the
you're right.
casino guy actually
Oh, you're
almost
right.
makes
He's
it.
around a lot longer. You're right.
He ends up.
I thought that was a casino guy.
That was the health inspector guy.
Okay.
Yeah, he
If you're
runs
not a
out
blonde
that way.
chick in this movie, I don't have time for you.
Yeah, because she's like, no, don't go out that door. And then he's like, but and then goes right down the stairs.
Uh-huh. It was pretty quick.
Guys are just there to get smooches or dead.
The reason probably why he died, he never got a kiss. So he just died.
Never did. Nobody loves him. Dead.
And then when they go to rescue, so they have for whatever reason, that they're done after that window, so they got to go upstairs some more. The ants are encroaching on the whole place at this point. They go to rescue the wheelchair lady, the older lady, in the little basket, and it gets like hooked on something.
Oh my God.
And okay, I get it, like why that's scary. It didn't really pan out to anything, but the lady started wigging out, and I was like, "What's gonna happen? Is the helicopter gonna come down?" But nothing. I was like, "That was a lot of drama for nothing."
I would also like to point out that guy fell then off the balcony like 5 seconds later.
Yeah. Linda's boyfriend, the lifeguard.
I thought that guy was done too. He should have been.
I was almost. Oh, this is so bad. I was like, "Come on, break! Let that canopy break!
Yeah, he landed.
break!"
I mean, he fell out of this movie into a cartoon because he landed on a canopy.
Yeah,
he was fine. And then how he got rescued is the other construction guy hopped in the bulldozer and just drove it over there so he could hop into that and then drove back. And it's like,
shouldn't that canopy be covered in ants?
It should be.
Everything should be covered in ants except for the top floor. Because that's how science works.
With how many ants were on the side of the veins on the house, that house should have been way over by the time they even...
Yeah, they were
that
not...
basket should have been empty for that helicopter.
So the ants can literally climb straight up a wall. They're not... Those humans are not racing ants upstairs.
They can make bridges across water.
They can make bridges. Yep.
Yeah,
that's why.
Right. That's why you have to use fire. Kill them with fire.
We have to make a moat of gasoline around the kerosene-soaked hotel and light it up. So we mentioned the helicopter. This is another bit that made me laugh hysterically, is when the helicopter then like flies the lady away and goes to land, it kicks up all the ants onto the crowd, the big crowd of people that are now watching. I laughed so hard. I was like, you guys are the worst. You guys
worst
can't do
fire
anything
department
right.
ever. Or rescue or whatever. They're
so bad.
I just feel like the helicopter pilot was going to be Grawlix, but I feel like the helicopter pilot was like, "Oh, I'm going to bring her over here," and then just throws the ants up, and he's like, "Bad idea."
Whoops.
We're just going to keep flying. Not land there. Yeah.
Hey, there's only one place to land, and it's where that guy was driving earlier with the land mover.
I love
Let's land there.
I love when they get to the front loader and they're like doing all like the running to it, and then they get into it and that thing is moving as slow as possible.
The thing is so slow.
Like, hold on, everybody.
How many ants do you think were killed in the making of this movie? I mean, they're ants, but dude, there are a lot of ants, and those things just got trampled on. And so, the one scene that I thought was kind of effective, although ridiculous. So the 3 people left in the hotel owner, daughter, construction guy, fiance, and CD guy that wants to buy the place. And they end up in this room, and the super exposition moral of the story scientist guy tells him over the phone that, ants they react to the aggression, so you just got to be completely still and don't breathe on them.
Oh yeah. Don't breathe.
So then they come up with the idea like they're going to breathe through these little tubes. I'm guessing to get the breath away from their body, whatever. But they're just going to sit there still and let the ants like cover them. And it's gross. Like the ants do cover them. But casino guy freaks out eventually. And I don't totally blame him because he was covered in ants. But casino guy freaks out, starts running, and then tries to jump off through the window into the pool. And I don't know where he landed, but it wasn't anywhere near the pool. But that said, I can't remember her name, but the lady who's supposed to not be moving, she's just vibrating all over the place. Like, what's their honor?
Valerie. What's her name?
Yeah, she should be dead. She should be done. She's just
right.
I can't do it. It's like, then you're dead, lady.
That's because I was wondering if she's getting like bit because she's like her eyes are rolling and stuff. And I was like, is she getting bit or?
I mean, maybe a little bit. I think she was just panicking.
And then they douse them in pesticide when they find them.
Yeah, I was like, that can't be good. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're breathing. By the way, why can't the ants crawl into the tubes?
That's what I was kind of wondering.
The wallpaper tubes that he made to breathe through.
Right. Why can't they just step over the frickin' ants?
Just to run.
Just step over them. It's not like they're giant ants. They're regular ants. I mean, like you've got at least a 50-50 chance if you just go fast.
Other than the couple times they show the weird effect shots where it looks like the ground is just black, most shots show the ground is fine.
Yeah.
There's some veins of like ants crawling around walls and stuff, but for the most part, just eyeball some open spots on the floor. There's a lot and run.
Yeah.
They don't jump. They don't do none of that. They're just ants.
Yeah, it'd be funny if like they're upstairs and this helicopter's there and some guy just walks out the front door, like closes it behind him and just walks across. Told you guys, you can just walk out.
They're all just upstairs now. Just wait till they go upstairs.
just walks out. Movie's over.
Go home.
No story here.
Your local news is up next. The Gong Show is on at 9.
Yes.
I don't know. I had something else, but I lost it. It doesn't matter. Because when this movie was ending, oh no, maybe it wasn't even that.
Masterpiece was ending.
There was a shot at one point towards the end of the movie. There's a shot where the helicopter's flying around. And I'm looking at it. And I'm looking at all the people. They got a crowd there. They got, there's obviously the film crew, fire truck, helicopter. And I'm like, man, that's a lot of work for nothing.
Right.
That's a lot of work for nothing.
They practically brought in the Coast Guard for these ants.
They actually did.
It took them a while to get there.
I was laughing. There was a U.S. Coast Guard helicopter. Like,
oh, that's right. It was a Coast Guard helicopter. And it's lakeside, so it had to be in California, man.
Why couldn't they send the helicopter back? Just have it land elsewhere. Don't have it land next to the ants.
Right.
that was funny because they're basically dropping her off just on the other side of the firewall.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, no. As soon as you're on that side of the firewall, the small firewall that you can step over, you're fine.
I was laughing when you see him in the suits stepping over the fire line. Just like that's all it took.
I mean, the characters that are left alive stayed alive. And the mom character, the older lady is going to go move in with her sister or something. And
oh, that's right. She's like, don't worry, we'll sell the land.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And those other two are going to go get married, and then the homeless lady and the dumb Flash Gordon. Maybe dumber Flash Gordon.
Savior of the Lakeside Manor?
They're going to go, she's going to go live with him now, and he's going to make her food. Because that's what a homeless person wants, right?
Go make me some food.
That was like the whole basis of their relationship.
I feel like we've known each other forever. Didn't she have a line like that?
She's like,
no,
I can't believe
you
this.
have had literally 10 minutes of screen time.
I can't believe this morning you and I didn't even know each other. It felt like years. And he goes, it has been years. Nope.
No.
Not really.
Not even 5 minutes, dude.
No.
There was some way over the top TV drama. Not a lot, but there was some that was ridiculous. I was a little surprised that like the second person, I guess the third person if you count the second guy that got buried, but the third person to get ant attack was like the little boy.
Yeah,
that's effective. Also, don't crawl around in dumpsters, and definitely don't crawl around in dumpsters when you have nothing but your swimsuit on. You're gonna get tetanus at the very least. It's a terrible idea.
Yeah,
stupid kid.
Stupid kid.
And also, he's screaming, running, obviously covered in something. I mean, I know they're ants, they're small, but there was a lot of them on him. And they're like, don't let him in the water. He doesn't know how to swim. Like, let him in the water, then we'll pull him out. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
And obviously, he has something going on right now.
And they could not figure this out. Like, I would think they would have figured it out when he died. But nope. I guess because he hit the water. Or didn't.
No, he did. He did end up hitting the water, I believe. He did not die, though. I noticed they had him live, and I wonder if that was just to lessen it. Like, they can attack a kid, but they can't kill him. I don't know. But they had him live through a little piece of throwaway dialogue. He's okay. He's doing better in the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But the ants found him there and finished the job.
I was
a hospital bed getting.
You've heard of carpenter ants. You've heard of fire ants. These are hitmen ants.
They'll track you down. I was disappointed that we didn't get to see the hotel burn, though.
Yeah.
They set it up. I mean, they were literally dousing all the floors with gasoline because the ants were in there, or with kerosene, and then dumping 55-gallon drums of gas around it. Nope. They don't have the budget for that. They're not going to burn down a building.
No. They spent all of it on location shots.
All right, gentlemen, are we ready for ratings?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Do we want to make Jesse? Do we want to make Jesse go first again, or
We're going first with you.
Oh, okay.
I want to see where yours flipped.
I gave Ants 1.5 stars. Pretty low.
I think that's fair.
1.5 stars because all the reasons we just said. It's not a good movie. It's pretty dull. But I almost gave it 1. And I was like, 1 seems a little harsh. Because there was some, especially towards the end, even though a lot of it came down to like rescuer, what's the word? Incompetence. Like there was some thrilling stuff towards the end. It was, they did good at ratcheting up some suspense, even if it was dumb. And the ladder thing, as stupid as that was, made me super anxious because I was like, are they going to kill this lady? And that looks horrifying. And then the scene, other than the fact that what's her name kept moving and should have been bitten to death, the scene where they were like had the ants covered at them, that was fairly effective and gross. But other than the fact that ants are gross when there's a huge like swarm of them on you, ants are not gross generally or scary or anything. And I feel like there's a lot of shots of ants where it was supposed to make your skin crawl. And I don't know why ants don't seem that terrible. Probably just because they're ants. They're everywhere. It didn't really make my skin crawl for the most part. It was fine. So, meh. Anyway, 1.5 stars. What'd you guys think?
I'm not going to go much better. I'm going to give it a 2. And the only reason it gets a 2 for me is it's almost that Evil Dead factor where it's like unintentional. You know, like Evil Dead 1 was not supposed to be funny, but everybody loved it so much because they thought it was funny. And then they remade it to be funny. And I feel like that's the appeal it has for me is this movie was ridiculous. It was so awful. It was ridiculous. Like I had so many like WTF moments and just laugh out loud, like what is happening right now type of moments. Like, okay, these are ants, and most of the time they don't hurt anyone, and you could literally just like take really big steps over them, and that's it. And yet we had this whole plot sort of around them, but most of it was not around them at all. Most of the movie was about the people. Which is fine because, I mean, you know, ants don't have a lot of speaking lines. But, yeah, I don't know. I gave it 2 because it was infinitely entertaining to me, but not for any reason that they intended.
Good. Yeah, good. I like that. That's good. All right, Jasper, what do you think?
If I may.
You may.
I can have any rating I want, right? I'm going with absolute 0.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Ooh.
All right. First
okay.
0, huh?
Wow, yeah.
I just did not like this movie. I mean, if it was a National Geographic documentary about ants, I'd probably give it a 2. But I just did not like this movie. Like, I could not keep my attention for more than a half second. Mm-hmm. It was just, and the whole music with the ants, when they looked at the ants, it was like the strings. It just gave me just chills. Like
what? Like the music or the ants? Or?
Yeah, when they would zoom in on the ants, you hear the like the strings. It was horrible for my ears.
Okay.
But 0.
Wow.
Well, we didn't talk about
0 out of 5.
Movie music yet. On either of these.
No, I don't really remember.
There wasn't really. I don't think there's a lot in Wasp Woman, but yeah, every time they would look at the ants,
you get the strings that you might associate with like ants, right? Like the
it just sounds like someone running their fingers on the top of guitar strings. I'm like,
that's part of what was so ineffective about the shots with the ants because they did like ramp up this like creepy music, and I was like, this is not creepy. They're just ants.
Right. They're just ants living.
0. I'm impressed by that.
I was gonna go 0.5 after you said what 1.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't bring myself to even that much.
On Letterboxd, there's not a lot of people that have watched it. It's fairly well, comparatively, it's fairly well rated. I was a little surprised when I seen that. But reading through the reviews, I think it's a lot of people that caught it in 1977 when it
Randy,
was on TV. And
the
was
internet
like, oh,
really
yeah,
likes blonde girls that kiss guys,
that's true. It's a good point.
which should just be the name of this movie.
The music in Wasp Woman, was it like that kind of
It struck me as
a jazzy, maybe not jazz, but
well, I mean, like typical for the era, really.
yeah.
It didn't stand out to me because it seemed, like the movie movie music I would expect, I guess. A typical score for a horror movie of that time. Kind of big, orchestral, but nothing no surprising like signature score pieces or anything.
It has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 15%.
Which one?
Ants.
15% on Rotten Tomatoes. Ooh. All right, that might be the lowest that we've talked about on the show. This might be the lowest we've talked about on any show. Oh, I don't know though. I guess there's some pretty low ones on like some of the superhero flops, but
Okay, so that 15% was audience score.
okay.
The Wasp Woman has a 45% with actual critics, 23% with the audience.
That's a little surprising to me. All right, guys. Just don't make the music noise. You always make the music
I was
noise.
trying not to do it audio, but I was doing that.
Okay. You always do. You make the music noise. Okay. With the recent what I expect to be success of Ant-Man and the Wasp, movie studios they're thinking, maybe insects are the way to go. But they don't have a lot of money to scrape together for this gamble. So they pick up some long forgotten properties to create the next Ant and Wasp related cinematic universe. We'll start with Jesse because I know he's prepared. Jesse, how would your Ants and the Wasp Woman cinematic universe go?
I'm ready for this.
I call this pitch Horror Returns to Lakewood, or AKA Ants?
Question mark?
Question mark with an exclamation point, because the original one has an exclamation point. This has both. Okay, it's been over 40 years since the events at Lakewood Manor, and the secret horror of those events have been mostly forgotten or laughed off as urban legend. I mean, ants, am I right? So on that last fateful day, Ethel Adams said they'd sell that land to someone, and sell they did.
Oh.
The current owners, however, have a dark secret past of their own. They were once known as Starlin Cosmetics.
Yep.
After the mysterious and tragic deaths of so many people that closed their doors, all their holdings were seized by the bank. Well, years later, the bank has sold those holdings and the properties of Starlin. And the unscrupulous corporate mogul, now this is where I really jumped the shark, David Clamp. Plot twist, yeah, that's the Gremlins 2 guy.
Okay.
Yeah. He hasn't learned anything. And they are breaking ground on the construction site for the new Lakewood Research Facility. Now, because it was in his contract, that research facility is not called the Lakewood Research Facility. It's called the Zinthorpe Research Facility, because he got it in writing. Boom. 2 dark, long-forgotten secrets are unearthed. Not all of the ants have been killed. In fact, they've gone undisturbed for so long that the swarm is basically restored, and the ground and the ants are as toxic as ever.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. At the same time, a budding researcher happens upon the incomplete research notes of Dr. Zinthorpe and his incredible findings, and the formula incorporating royal jelly of wasps. Time jump, 6 months. So they've already set up the Zinthorpe Research Facility. It's up and running. It's a full campus, but it's locked down, so you can imagine there's like walls around it or gated type of thing. Uh-huh. It's running and everything seems to be fine. But within the lab, they're about to resume the dark experiments better left forgotten. Also, the swarm has awoken, and the floor drains lead right into the swarm's tunnels. The ants contaminate the lab space, kill a lab tech working on the royal jelly formula, and they add this formula to their toxic bite. So now they no longer kill with their bites, but in fact, the lab is soon infected with Wolfman-style ant-wasp hybrids because when they bite people, they turn them into wasp women, even if they're men. And the worst part is, these poor lab techs, half the time, they don't even know they're killing people. Meanwhile, widower, I don't know what this guy's name was. I'm calling him Mike Carr. Basically, the guy that pulls, Valerie into the bathroom to make out. He comes back, but like she lived at Lakewood her whole life with her mom, Ethel, and so like she's been exposed to all of these toxins that made killer ants her whole life. So she died early. He's a widower. But I mean, like after the events of ants, they did get married and they were in love. So he's a widower now. And every year to remember his late wife, Valerie, now that he's in his 70s, he comes back to the site that was once Lakewood Manor just to remember. And he sees the new facility and he reacts in horror. Don't they know that this is how we get ants? Do they want ants?
Oh my God.
As ants attack and killer ant wasp hybrid people killers continue to spread on the campus and within the walls of Starlin / Clamp Research / Zinthorpe Research Lab facility, Mike finally gets some people to listen to him. I don't know. Maybe he gets a front loader and he just drives back and forth, whatever it takes. But they finally realize that they have to kill it. They have to kill it with fire. The end.
That's the end.
Who needs a third act? Come on, they kill it with fire. Boom.
I mean, that is the third act right there. They kill it with fire, and oh, wow.
That was an amazing ride there.
Oh, dude.
I thought about this a little too much, but I was like, how do you connect these? And I was like, oh, I got it.
That you totally took my idea, but like added so much more than I had added. You put so much more thought into it than I did.
John Glover, man. Yeah, bring him in. He's the exec. Got to do it. Gremlins 2, Ants, Wasp Women. We got it all.
These cinematic universes they're really branching out. It hasn't aired yet, but the next episode we also like branch out into other cinematic universes for our cinematic universe. So, wow.
I mean, it doesn't even need to be Gremlins 3. I just thought that was funny. It was like, what sleazy corporate exec can I imagine that just is so like clueless that he wouldn't even care that this was happening? Oh, here we go.
If you follow the trajectory of the Gremlins movies, it makes sense it would go here in a way.
In a way, yeah. Doesn't even involve the Gremlins, but it's kind of like a look to the left kind of universe. Like, oh, what's happening over here? Let's follow this guy.
You got anything, Jasper? What do you got?
Mine was that they buried Wasp Lady in that hole, and that's where all the ants came from.
Okay.
So...
Wait, so like years before ants happened, and that's why ants happened? Like one guy wasn't...
She owned the Lakewood Manor. Then they're like, we can't really give her a public burial after she killed everybody. So they buried her in the manor grounds.
Okay. That's how they became toxic.
She sent off a pheromone, and then the ants picked that up, and they bit her dead body. got the royal jelly.
Wow. You guys that makes it even more ironic when the lab gets built on the same grounds later.
Yeah.
Wow. You guys crafted a well-defined cinematic universe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, I got nothing. My idea was basically Jesse's idea of what became of Starlin Industries eventually bought the manor grounds and set up shop there, and yeah. Woo. Guys.
I really thought in his story where he said that they loved each other and then they had I thought he was going to say that she's going to give birth to wasps. Big old baby wasps.
Oh my!
See, we save that for the sequel to Jesse's horror, or was it horror or Return to or whatever? Return to
Horror returns to Lakewood.
Yeah, that'll be Horror Returns to Lakewood 2. It'll be the Wasp Baby,
Son of Lakewood.
a la The Fly 2, in which we then eventually tie it around in a surprise twist to tie into the original Vincent Price Fly movie.
Yes.
And then it becomes a romantic comedy where one half man, half fly, and one half man, half wasp woman. Wait. That's not right. One half woman, half wasp. Or, wait, you know what? I
Pretty
said it right
fly
the first
for
time.
a wasp guy.
I said it right the first time. This is a progressive film cinematic universe. We ain't no 1986 Fox Studios, okay? We're fine with a man, fly, man, wasp woman relationship, okay? Actually, I don't know if that was Fox Studios or not, but whatever. Call back.
Or you could totally just throw it for a loop and then be like, she's dead, but then the ants bite her, bring her back to life. She comes out of the ground. Right as she comes out of the ground, she's shot by a shotgun, and it's Woody Harrelson's Zombieland.
Oh my god!
Wow. Okay.
And that's where Zombieland starts.
That's where Zombieland starts. Oh.
Night of the Living Wasp Woman.
It's not zombies in Zombieland. It's wasp-bitten zombies.
Yeah, they didn't know. That's how they claimed it was Mad Cow. Mm-mm. Mad Ant, Wasp Woman.
Nothing's gonna bite you like a mad ant.
One of the movies could be called Anti-Wasp.
Oh
Get
boy!
it?
Oh my god! Sweet.
Oh man.
Woo! All right. I feel good about that. I feel like I shouldn't, but I do.
You're gonna have to edit a lot, but yeah.
It's all right. That's all right. So, Jesse,
Yes.
where can people find you?
You can find me at grawlixpodcast.com. Otherwise, you can look for me on the Twitters at Jesse, Jesse, no I, Kiefer, Kiefer.
How about you, Jasper? I feel like I always push you to the end. I don't mean to. How about you, Jasper?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, excuse me.
Just go to Twitter. Sorry, I always derail your... All right.
Every time. No, you can find me on Twitter at Ninja Monkey Live. That's NinjaMunkey3Y Live. And you can find me on Instagram, same name, at Ninja Monkey Live.
Okay.
I'm not spelling it again.
All right. You can find me, of course, at grawlixpodcast.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Randall Silvey, and I'll spell it this time. Normally I don't. It's RANDALSILVEY, or randallsilvey.com, or electronicmediacollective.com, or podedit.com. Also find Grawlix Podcast on Facebook, facebook.com/Grawlix Podcast, or throw a YouTube at the beginning of that. You're there, and throw everything.
All the things.
All the things.
Guys, thank you for having me on.
No problem.
Dude, it's awesome.
Thank
It's
you
awesome.
for coming, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jasper, don't listen to the latest episode of Grawlix. No reason.
Why?
I bagged on you pretty hard. I felt a little bad, and then I almost cut it out. And then I was like, dude, it's still funny. We ragged on your the ratings a little bit.
You're 2.9.
And then the 2.9, and then a little bit not yellow, or not gold, and then
See the tip of that star is just not really
Yeah,
yellow.
yeah.
and then I bagged on you making me nervous about watching the movies and questioning whether you actually watched the movies or not. Not saying you didn't.
To be fair, he also called out Melanie in that same episode. So
She did not sound. I noticed after like my little rant, she did not sound happy.
Stone face.
she's like, but
Yeah.
I always read them.
She's like sharpening it for her.
And I never questioned whether you like. I never said you come to the show not having watched them. I don't think that's the case. I just bagged on you for making me nervous that you're not going to. Okay.
I will say that I bumper the day that we record, but that's just because of time constraint. But usually I have that day off right before we record, and I just bang them out right there.
It makes me so nervous. I watched The Wasp Woman. It feels like a month ago. In fact, I'll tell you the exact time here in a second. But I didn't watch Ants, our next film, until last night. That was the one that I was having trouble. Yeah.
I watched Wasp Woman last night and then Ants today.
Really?
Ugh.